I'm making a soup base for this Lenten soup that I'll be doing, and it's going to be like a bok choy based soup base. However, I want to have flavoring, so I use Knorr caldo de pollo. It's a chicken kind of bouillon, and I will put 2 of them because each of these cubes make good 2 cups of soup. So 2 cubes makes 4 cups. And then I want to share with you that later, as I need more flavoring, instead of just salt and pepper, I use a little bit of this. I use a teaspoon, half a teaspoon as I go along. It's called fajita seasoning. You'll find it in any store. This is a wonderful magic seasoning for everything. Today, after I microwave that, I'm going to put some baby corn in there. In fact, and then I will put some bok choy, and I'll show that in a minute. In the Chinese grocery store, you will find bok choy, and it looks like this. Don't be afraid of it. There's a lot of green on here. For the soup base, we only take the bottom half, clean it very well, and I will only use half of this. I'm not going to use that much. And I'm going to show you how many. Now, I think only about 1.5 cups of this. In fact, I'll just split it up right now. I'll probably only use this much. 1, 2, 3, 4 stems. I'll clean it real well. In fact, I'll crack it up open for you. And I will clean this real well, trim it, and then I'll put it in a bowl. And I'm going to put that in the stock pot. This will be part of the stock with the bouillon. The base of the bok choy is spelled B-O-K-C-H-O-Y. B-O-K-C-H-O-Y. I'm taking down the stem, and normally there's lots of dirt all over this place, so you want to remove the dirt by rinsing well, especially the top part. And then you notice I'm draining the baby corn. And then you'll also notice the beautiful bouillon that's been microwaved. So it's pretty much dissolved. And you put it in a pan, like a stock pot if you use it, but I don't need it for just showing the 9. Remember, I'm only making enough for 4 people. And so I only cut it this big. Or this small. It's not that small. Because it's going to actually almost disappear. You can chop it up a little more if you want, but it's really going to disappear. Okay, just like that. That way, I guess, it's easier to handle. Okay. This is really the soup base. And I'm going to move the pan over here so you can see it. Here's my pan. It's a pan probably called it's 3 quarts. So I'm going to put this in first. And later you probably won't see any of this too much. It'll become so translucent. And I'll put the corn in. That's 1 whole can drained. You don't really have to rinse that one because it's very clean. And these baby corn are beautiful. So do remember this brand, Dynasty. You can find it in any good grocery store, H-E-B, Walmart, Kroger. Okay? And it says cut. Cut ones are better, baby corn. Then you put the stock in. If you have it, this is called 5-spice powder. It comes in different brands. This happens to be Vietnamese. Chinese also has 5-spice powder, and it looks different. You only use a little bit for, let me see, this is 4 cups. So I would say half a teaspoon at most. Don't want to overdo it. It is now on high heat. You can actually bring it to medium. I want you to boil this, bring to a boil, but don't cover it because and when it comes to a boil, I will cover it and simmer it at about medium low, not low, medium low. This is a gas burner, okay? Actually, this is warm enough because I have it preheated in a microwave. So I'll bring it to simmer. Not simmer, but medium low, so that it'll just bubbly. And I'm going to leave it there for about 30 minutes. 30 minutes, because I want the white bok choy to permeate the soup, to give it that nice, wonderful softness to the chicken soup base. You see, this is bubbly. Now that's 15 minutes. 15 minutes to go. Meanwhile, at the cutting board, I have already prepared 4 of these and sliced it nice. If you want, we like it whole or sliced this way, but if you want it, because we actually use a chopstick and a spoon when we eat our soup. And you could chop that up a little smaller if you don't use chopsticks. Now, if you chop it up this way, then you can't use chopsticks. And that's 4 of these. And by the way, this is some water chestnut. It comes in a can. So I only use half a can for tonight. And again, you can just chop it up roughly. Half a can, remember. Water chestnut, if it's whole. You have to drain it and rinse it twice in cold water. And what I did is I did it ahead of time because I eat water chestnut almost every other meal. So that was done last night with last night's meal. And this is the bok choy top, green. Now I will not put this in until when I'm about to serve. And this is Azuma tofu, firm. You can also use medium, but if you can find it. But in Walmart, it's firm. Now if you go to another brand, I would suggest that you use soft, because they're soft. It's like Azuma's firm. So here is the tofu, and I'll do it right now for you. And they usually come bigger than this. This is only a half, and for Joan and I, we use about this much. Now this is our protein for tonight. I probably can't use any meat products tonight. Maybe a little ham chopped up, and I'll show it to you later. And I put that in there, and I won't use the water. I just keep it there in the water for freshness. And when I put it in the soup pot at the end, at the very end, I will drain that drain. I'm back. I have one little change to tonight's meal. Instead of ham, I'm going to be using a half a can of this chicken breast. Okay, and it's in the can. I get it from, this is Sam's. You can use any of these. Half a can is around 6 ounces because this can is a 12.5 ounce one. And so here it is, and I even use the juice. I really like it. Half a can of chunk chicken breast. And I'm going to now put it in the soup. See, it's bubbling away, and just let it go. And it'll separate out and bring it back to a boil. Let's do this right now. There's the water chestnut and the mushroom. We just love mushroom. You see, as you see, I'm adding everything. That little pot is going to be full by the time I finish. As I recall, I told you not to put the greens until later. because if you put the greens now and cover, what will happen, your broth will, the green will turn yellow. And oh, this is already smells so good. Again, if it gets bland later, we put some fajita seasoning at the end. And then if you like it spicy, Joan loves chili flakes from the pizza place. We say pizza packet, but of course we have them too. And now I'm going to cover it, and I'll put it almost medium and bring it back to a good boil before I add the tofu, which is already here, draining. See you in a while. I'm back. So if you're looking at this, it's kind of bubbling. It's on a low. I'm going to bring it back to medium. And I have a little sake that I usually put in about this time. But most of us don't have sake. We might have some Sauvignon Blanc or Pinot Grigio at home. Wine only. Just put, about, 2 jiggers. Let's put it that way. Or a jigger. That's about an ounce. You can smell it right away. Okay? And we're going to be eating pretty soon, so it's time for me to put the green. Now, you see there's not much green. Look at the bok choy. It's become translucent. It's shrunk. The baby corn's in there. That's going to give you the crunch. Also my water chestnut. Now, I have nothing red or carroty. Why? Because I don't want it sweet. If I want this to be a sweet soup, then I'll put some carrots. But right now, this is not the soup I'm making. I have carrot soup too, or carrot-based soup, or tomato-based soup. This is not. This is just bok choy. And bok choy is green and gives it emerald. And then the gold of the baby corn and the ivory. And we'll bring it to a boil. The ivory of the soft or medium, this is soft tofu. Okay? I will not cover this until serving time. In fact, once it comes a boil, there's an option. I can use white pepper to kind of get it going. Or I can still add a little fajita salt with black pepper. Right here, fajita seasoning, Okay? In fact, I like it a little saltier, so I'll just put a little bit in for tonight. And that has black pepper. But chili flakes is really good on the table for your guests if they want it. A small bowl. You think it's very dinky, but it holds a lot. So let me just put some on. I know my tofu's clean, but if you go to a restaurant, make sure they cook their tofu longer than 2 seconds. And you grab some. The meat will come up. If you want more meat, you always can add more of that chicken. And then put the broth on. And we're good to go. Piping hot. If you have a little sandwich, cold sandwich to use, a cucumber sandwich, put it on the side. You can have a little French bread, toasted. You can use that too. Anything you like. I have used tortilla chips or just good old corn chips to go with this. Have fun. This is a great Lenten soup.